Hey guys, Blackout Bill here with another video. Please subscribe. Want to get that subscriber count up to 1,000. And in addition, leave a video or a comment in the comment section and I'll find you, watch your video, and I'll subscribe to you too. Alright, this new project is going to be the Javelin. Oh, the Javelin had the chrome on it. This is a 57 Johnson 35 horsepower motor. Biggest one I've ever worked on. It's a 57, so it doesn't have a fuel pump. I'm gonna modify it to receive the single line from Evinrude by modifying the plates on the side. There's one of two ways to do it. The other way is to pull the whole intake manifold off, which isn't too bad, but instead of taking everything, it's just easier to do it the other way. So, a little, 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. So this is the 35 horsepower 57. It has an electric start. I've never had an electric start before. It also comes with the pull start. I'm assuming the coils are going to be cracked, so I got to pop the flywheel off to check. I didn't even check for spark. I should have did that first. Maybe we will do that. And it's a big motor. But yeah, we're going to try to hook the electric start up, see if I can get it to work. I don't have the wiring harness. The original plug obviously went here. But I'm going to pick up a solenoid online and we'll mount it somewhere and we'll get it going. So this is the new project. Okay, we're back here with the 57 35 horsepower Johnson. And I don't have the dual line pressure tank, so I wanted to convert it as I've done to others in the past. This one, being such a bigger motor, some guys, this is the side plate off the motor itself, off the head, and some of the motors come equipped with a little fuel pump that's ready to go with threaded holes and everything like that. So if you don't have that, you can take the plate off and modify it. It's very easy. Someone with limited mechanical means like myself, who does pretty well, but I'm no expert, it took me 5 minutes. This is my tap and die set, and I believe I used the third 24, so not the biggest size I have in the 10-inch, but I used the 24. And I just tapped. These are called bosses. There was nothing but like an indentation for, I don't know, whatever. So just quick, no drilling necessary. Just stick the tap in and tap it. If you know how to use a tap, it's pretty easy. And then you drill a hole straight through the center of the middle here. So you do need to drill that, and it'll leave you a little hole there. The bosses are now threaded, and I went to eBay and I picked up this fuel pump. Now, there's 2 of these. There's 2 part numbers. They're 1 number off, and the only thing I can tell is the difference is the bigger intake or output, whatever one this is. This one's bigger, and the one on eBay, the other one, the smaller one, is an $80 pump. This is $20. So I'm going to use this one because why spend the money if I don't have to? And it should work. It's rated for 30 plus horsepower. It should work fine. If it doesn't work, then we'll go from there. So what's going to happen is this will be on the side of the motor. This will have a gasket in the middle. My new screws that you have to pick up, you either got to buy or use some of your own collection to match the size that you tap. And then it'll just mount. And you can see that's where the pulse goes from the pump. The engine will create the pulse through that hole, which you've now created because you drilled it, into this pump and force the fuel. So I'll be converting this to a fuel pump style, and it'll mount. If you can picture the engine up like this, I'll either mount it up like this or upside down, depending on how my clearance is. I think upside down I'll hit something up there, so I'll probably end up mounting it like this. So that's it. So I'll put it all together and I'll show you what the result is. Okay, again, back here with the 35 horsepower 57 Johnson, converting to fuel pump. Taking the motor apart, I was testing for spark. I have spark, so 9 times out of 10 the coils are bad on these. This one does not have bad coils. Clearly I have spark, so we're going to go from there. Now, in taking the spark plugs out, I realized they were a little tight for some reason. So when I got them out, I realized that this spark plug hole is blown out. So the threads are gone. I started to look up getting a new head to take it out. Of course, I jump on YouTube, and what do I see? They make a spark plug hole repair kit. I freaking love YouTube. So, a lot of people take the head off and then repair it. It's hard, you know, it's a 57 motor. All these bolts are locked on. So we're going to do it with the head on the motor. And people say you can. There's a couple tips and tricks to keep the shavings out of the hole. I'm not too concerned about it. Worst case scenario is I could pop this plate off, put it in a compression stroke, and vacuum out / air blow out all the particles. Alright, so, and not a lot of people actually show doing it with the head on, so that's what we're going to do today. The part is Save a Thread. It's a Helicoil kit. It comes with inserts, a tapper, which I'll show you what that does, and then the tap itself. Now, as you can see, it's going to start with the original size and then expand on its own into the big size. No drilling necessary. Usually you got to drill and then you tap. So this is going to expand the hole. You're going to slide the insert in, and then the spark plug will go within the insert. It sounds easy. I've never done it before. We're going to go on this journey together. Okay, so we're here with the Helicoil. First I'm going to lube the hole up for the tap itself. So they never like to do a tap without oil. And then we're going to stick some grease on the threads. They say this will catch most of the shavings. So I'm not too worried about shavings. It's an aluminum head. I'll catch most of them. I'll be able to blow them out and vacuum it out to catch whatever I can. We obviously don't want big chunks in there, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to add some grease there. And we're going to ratchet the stripped spark plug hole the correct way, of course. You want to go nice and straight. It's hard to see. Actually, you know what? Let's start by hand. Let's start it by hand so that we can make sure we're going in straight. You really only get one shot at this, I believe. Don't have to be crazy perfect with it, but you obviously want to be as good as you can be. You only get one shot. Okay, now we'll just get it in. Alright. I look like I'm pretty decently straight. Alright. No resistance yet. Usually you get some resistance, you want to back off and come back out. That's how I was always taught to thread. Alright, now it's going to hit the expanding part. I'm not really getting any resistance yet. Probably a bad thing. Okay, look good. You want to make sure your piston's in the compression stroke. And it's not. Now it is. We don't want to hit the top of the piston. I think because it's aluminum, it's not really giving me any resistance. I've seen guys ratchet this thing tight all the way. So we're just going to back it off a little bit just to make sure we're going good. So now see there's nothing. I'm going to go back to insert. There we go. I believe we're in all the way. It's giving me some resistance, not like tight like if you were. Alright, now I'm just going to pull it out all the way. It should be able to come out by hand, just to see what kind of shavings I'm dealing with. It's not coming out by hand yet. And once you pull it out by hand, you always want to screw it back in by hand so that you don't ruin the work you already did. Alright, so a lot of the shavings are on this piece. So they say the grease is what catches it. I do have some shavings on the inside of the hole. Not inside the hole where the threads are. It looks like I'm not threaded all the way yet either. But that's what we're doing. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, so I'm not threaded all the way, but I took all the shavings out with a flathead screwdriver. So you can see there's not much in there, which is kind of what we want. I'm not threaded all the way yet either, so I'm going to keep going. Going along nice. Okay, so I applied a little bit more axle grease to the threads. And now I'm going back to threading the threading. I'm going to thread it all the way through now. So it's going in smooth. There's no resistance yet because I haven't cut all the way through. So now we're at the cutting part. Here's cut. And we're just going to ratchet it in. If I'm using axle grease, that's the trick they say to catch all the threads. And I believe I'm almost there, if not all the way. So now I got no resistance at all. I'm going to screw it all the way in, and now I'm going to screw it right back out. Not all the way in, but once you start getting loose, it should be fine. See how many shavings I caught. Okay. Here she comes. It's not coming out. Alright, looks good. Looks like I got a fresh threaded spark plug hole. So all the shavings stuck to the thing. That's nice. That's what we want to see. A couple more shavings in there. I'm just going to pull it out with my flathead screwdriver here, and then we'll kind of clean everything up. But I think we're done. Next, I will be doing the insert. I'll have to show you that by hand. The kit comes with these 3 inserts. Okay, we got they're all the same size. One's long for a longer hole, depending on your application. I got a short one and a medium one. I'm going to use the medium one because that's about the size of the depth of the thread in the thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some thread seal in here. We're going to screw it into our new tapped hole. All right. Then we're going to set it. See the teeth there? We're going to set it with the other tool I showed you out there. I showed you, I was going to show you. And then once you set it and the thread seal is in there, we're going to let it sit. Okay, this is what I'll be using. High temperature thread sealant. Put it right on my sleeve. Okay. You really don't have to go all the way around with it, but it's alright. No, I'm not showing it, but I'm going to put a little bit there, and then we're going to thread it in the hole. Okay, I'm learning this the hard way. It says put the sleeve in till it's flush, but it doesn't get flush. It gets to the teeth and then stops. So after ripping my finger apart, I used the flathead screwdriver to get it in as far as I can go. If you use the spark plug, it's going to get stuck on the plug. So get a screwdriver, stick it in there, and move, because your finger isn't going to do it. And the spark plug, the damn thing will get stuck to the plug. Alright, once you get it in there, this is your hammer tool. You take this, stick it in there, and give it a whack. Not too hard. Give it a whack, it'll set the teeth into the hole. Okay, so we're going to try to kick her over. This is technically run test 2. Since I did just try to get it running. Just got to prime the bulb up. When I first originally primed the bulb, I over squeezed, and I had gas pouring out the exhaust. So I thought maybe there was a gasket bad. I think I just filled it up too much and went past the whatever. So this is the Johnson, and I did install an electric start on it. I just put the handle on now. And the button is not your typical start button. It's a like push in, stays on, so I gotta remember to turn it back off. Put the choke back in. Okay, so it does start. It was pumping water, now all of a sudden it's not, so I gotta check that out.